who you are, and still you're still within the element.
I follow your reasoning entirely, but I'd also say that the criticism, we're going with criticisms here, that the clothes that you're designing will be imitative of the West. So our women will be, for a word, they're not decent. They're showing too much of too much skin, too much leg. And that's part. What is your response to that? Are you said you grew up at the coast, so that you're very conscious of a Muslim input there. Is this at the back of your mind as you draw a design?
I do. Actually, if I take you back, one of the reasons that actually got me to do design is because I once experienced a lady in town while I was still in high school, and she was not exactly dressed decently. And I thought to myself, is it that they don't have places where they can go and find comfortable and decent outfits, or is it that she prefers to look like that?
Well, somebody would argue that a woman has every right to dress the way she pleases.
I absolutely agree.
And we aren't there to make judgment on it or to say that our conduct towards her should be governed by the way she dresses. And the same for men, I dare say. Right. So I'm still going back to you. What is your designer? We're talking about John Kaveke. What is your response to this whole debate?
Well, John, I'd look at it from this point of view. We are going into a system where everything very free-spirited, and everybody has become very individual in the way they want to be looked at or want to appear. I would only comment from the point of view from the side of being careful of not overdoing it. Because even the style I use, even what I design, whenever I'm designing, I always think about the morals, the cultural background, because at the end of the day, those are the things that define us here locally.
But we've just seen some of your pictures with these sort of models ripped with six-packs, you know, and we're all sort of busy taking so many beers a day with a big pot belly. We're never going to wear this stuff, John.
We can. I mean, one of the things that also I need to enlighten about when we do runway shows are pretty much an expression of art. We don't normally say that that's what you need to wear. These are expressions, these are ways of how we would like to see them. But you have to look at it. There are three types of fashion levels. There is a haute couture. Haute couture is pretty much where you use very expensive, very elaborate, it's very detailed pieces, which then you have to define whether you want to be on that level. Then you have the ready-to-wear, which is the prêt-à-porter, which is pretty much what we are wearing, something that you can wear on a daily basis, very less effort. And then you have the mass production, where, you know, it's like what the Chinese are doing. So what we see on the runway is a lot to do with the haute couture.
Yes, it's with the aesthetic, the craft. How far can we take this process? We could take it as far as having a dress made up of coconut leaves or something. It's possible, and maybe we're going there 100 years from now, but in the meantime, this is what I think could happen.
Those are usually expressions.
But
when we go back to our little studios, we do actually wear, we design and make practical clothes.
Right, so I want to go to that word studio. And we're now into the very phase of production. Would somebody from a major fashion house in the West, in Spain where you studied, come to your studio and say that your output in terms of craft is second or third rate on a global level?
I think that they have to be looking at it from a different point of view, because we try as much as possible to create pieces that are acceptable globally.
Right. Yes, so I'm trying to see. There's John. You're in Nairobi. You're in your studio. You've employed how many people?
Say 3 of them.
3 people.
Yes.
And you have made a design, and that you have some material. And these 3 people are producing on a daily basis imitations of a certain dress or shirt that you've made. How many a day? What's the daily output?
I think it depends on what level you are doing it, because I do ready to measure.
Right.
Ready to measure is pretty much John comes to me and says, I want a suit, and I work with that program. I don't do retail.
Right.
So that's different, because retail, then you have to do volumes.
Right, so you'd have to have a factory somewhere.
You have to have a factory or a large production unit that you can actually
Are you doing one-to-one sort of bespoke tailoring because you have no money to build a factory?
No, actually it's because I enjoy to do, I'm very personal with the pieces I make. I like, if I make John a suit, I want John to feel special. I want John to walk out and say, I'm actually wearing something that was made with a lot of love and creativity behind it. I don't have a problem with people who do mass production because that's what they have chosen. But John Kaveke has decided that he wants to interact with his clientele and make them feel special.
I don't see how this sort of very localized treatment of me is going. You have an international reputation.
Yes.
That's partly the reason why you're here.
Yes.
So how do you go from doing things especially to broadcast your skills? Because if somebody wants a suit from you, are they going to fly from Paris to find you in Nairobi? Surely not.
No.
So why bother to put up a website of what you do? You might as well, you know, go into bars and put up posters of what you're presenting.
Well, John, you look at it from the point of view, as you grow as a brand, you wanna also, you cannot be dormant that I'm gonna just make for John, because you have to earn a living as well. And also because I see myself as a brand that wants to be recognized internationally, so I have to put measures to be able to be seen as an international designer. And again, selling for me is important to also appeal to markets that are outside Kenya. So I have to put other measures like website. I have to, you know, attend fashion shows internationally so that I can also be recognized as a fashion designer and broaden.
Right. So if you went to the West, for those who have been exposed, and you walk into any sort of fashion store, there'd also be the price tag.
Yes.
Now, where in some day in July, would you be prepared in a forum such as this, as the John Kaveke suit costs how much? Well, that's a secret. We'll discuss that. If I'm the president, it'll be worth as much as a Brioni. If I'm a TV presenter on KISS, we'll lower it by 100% because they get paid less.
No, I normally, I don't really categorize people pretty much. For me, fashion is an art.
But I drew you on price tags because people could be watching this program, they'll have no idea, turn up at your studio and be highly embarrassed because you charge the price of a second-hand car for one of your suits.
No, I don't do that. What I do, John,
so you say nothing about price?
When it comes to pricing, because a lot of what our pricing are dictated is a large percentage is the type of fabric we use.
Okay.
That will determine a lot to do with the pricing. Of course, our labor is not as high as how you do it in the West. But a lot to do is the raw materials that we use to make the particular item. So if you came in and you want a suit made out of cotton, I will give you a price for cotton. If someone else came in and said, oh, I want to do linen, and I say, okay, fine. Linen has like 4 different or 6 different types, and they all have different prices. Then I will charge you based on the fabric.
What is the price of the cheapest item that I could buy from John Kaveke?
I would say about 10,000. That will be a blazer, which is handmade by me.
Okay, now, so you've answered my question and I'm happy. I'm going to start saving now.
So you can come.
I'm going to start saving now. Is there competition within this? Are you all together, you all meet and you love each other, or is this a cutthroat, I hate his or her guts who's in the business as well? Is there a fraternity? Is there a guild? Is there a union?
I think what I see, I mean, we're not necessarily enemies. And I would say when we meet in the field, everybody has to have their game. And there's no time to start being friendly. This is business. This is a competition. So if I meet a fellow designer and we're doing something and we have to make it happen, I concentrate on my end, you concentrate on your end, and after that we can have a cup of tea.
Final question.
Yes.
We started saying that there's not enough known about you and people like you. Tell us a bit about your future plans. Think ahead 5 years, the length of our current administration.
Looking at I'm very surprised, first of all, to see the statistics, because it's very interesting to see how people see local designers. And some of the things that I would like to change is actually one of them that is the largest is the knowledge of existence of John Kaveke. Now, the other thing also in the next couple of years, I would like to, I always see myself as a mentor. And I'd like to be able to, mentor other upcoming designers, that they actually can see that this is a viable business. That it's not something just you wake up and just become creative and everybody loves you. No, it's a cutthroat business. You have to put your business skills inside, and I would love to teach people that, and I'd love them to see that and be able to, grow in that. And then the other thing, John, I'd love to be able to be someone who goes back to community. I mean, there's a lot of people who are, not having stuff going on in their lives, and you want to touch them. So I'd love to be able to do that. And of course, the brand, make it big.
John Kaveke, fashion designer, thank you so much for coming to the JSA.
Thanks, John. A pleasure.